Hi, I'm Greta.
And I'm Scott, and we're the board game couple, turning game night
into date nights. Are you ready to set off into space to expand your empire to the furthest reaches of the galaxy?
I am.
Well, in today's game, Tiny Epic Galaxies, you can do just that.
The idea behind this game, designed by Scott Almes and published by Gamelin Games, is to have a board game that fits inside a card game box. And this one certainly fits that bill. The box even boasts small footprint as one of the game's features. This game is miniature in size, but certainly not in scope. In order to claim the universe for your own, you will need to manage the resources of various planets and colonize them in order to take home a victory. You will also have your own secret mission that can make or break your final victory score.
You play as rival galactic leaders in an intergalactic war. On your turn, you roll these dice, which will allow you to do things like collect resources, move your ships, use your planet's special abilities, or claim a planet for your own by colonizing it. Collecting resources will allow you to spend energy and or culture points to earn more victory points. Those come along with additional ships and extra dice to roll. It's a game of strategy and galactic domination, all in under 30 minutes.
Now, one of the things that I really like about this game is a follow mechanism. What that allows you to do is if you spend the culture points, you can use someone else's die roll when they activate it. So if they want to move a ship and they activate that die, you could spend a point and move one of your ships as well. It's really helpful because you don't have to sit there and wait for that die roll to happen on your turn. You could take advantage at any time so long as you have the available resources. Now that actually adds another layer to the game because if you're sitting there and going through, on your turn, it can be kind of pointless to try and colonize a planet if someone else is on that colonization track ahead of you. Because if they have the resources to follow, you could move forward on the track and then they'll just move forward themselves and maintain their lead, eventually colonizing that planet on your turn. So it really does take a lot of things you have to take a lot of things into consideration. Not only what are you doing, but what is your opponent capable of doing as well. In addition to the two-player game, which has been a lot of fun, I've really enjoyed, there is, you can play this solo, and it's amazing. It's actually been a lot of fun. There are kind of solo autonomous players on the back that when you turn the mat over, it tells you exactly how they play, what they do, and what their dice roll means. It's actually a lot of fun, and I know that actually on the Board Game Geek, this just won one of the solo games of the year. So I think it's well-deserved. I think it's a great game.
I like that this game feels big even though it comes in a small box because there are a lot of planets to pick from and everything you do is determined by dice rolls. It's very random, which means it has a lot of replayability. I like that they don't offer you an option to actually hurt the other player's fleets. You cannot take ships away from them. You cannot move ships really in the hopes of hurting the other players. You can, however, like Scott mentioned earlier, battle for a planet, but that's a slightly different mechanism than actually hurting the other player. Personally, I struggle a lot with strategy on this game. I always feel like I am 3 steps behind Scott whenever we play. I don't know if that has to do with the way I'm interpreting the rules or how good he is at playing. I'm not really sure, but to be honest, I've yet to figure out how to win this game at all. Scott beats me by a ton of points every single time. Every time I'm trying to colonize a planet, he wins it out from under me, and so on. So this game is highly strategy-based, and if you can't quite figure out what that strategy is, I do feel like you're at a disadvantage for winning the game. We all know that winning isn't everything, but of course, playing a game that you can never win is honestly just simply not as fun.
So, what rating are you going to give this? Although I have a feeling I know.
Well, I don't feel like this game has led to fights specifically. I feel like it's easy enough to play it's very complicated when you're trying to learn it, but once you're in it, it all sort of makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm gonna say date night, even though it's a game that personally I feel like is not for me. But the game mechanics and how it works, I don't really think it's set up to cause conflict and tension between the players. So I'm gonna go ahead and say date night.
I will give it a date night as well. I have really enjoyed it, even though there can be a little bit of direct conflict. Like you said, there's no real take that moment. So you are racing for a similar goal. I love the strategy that's involved in it. I've really enjoyed every time we've played it, whether with Greta or by myself. We haven't gotten this into a big group yet, but I actually would kind of look forward to that, to see how it plays when it gets bigger. But so far, I really enjoy it. I'm ready to play it anytime, and so that's a date night for me.
If you liked this video, please make sure to click like.
And if you want to see more, make sure you click subscribe so that next time you can see us talk about... Mwah!